Well, he's been at the center of controversy around his decision to not charge certain people arrested at protests. And now, for the first time since the day after he was elected, we were able to sit down for a one-on-one conversation with Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt. For more on this, our Fox 12 Simon Gutierrez joins us now live in Northeast Portland with how he explained his sometimes controversial policies. Simon?
He's been criticized by some for dropping hundreds of cases against people that were arrested at protests, but he says his priority is going after people that are actually committing crimes. According to data made public by the district attorney, of just over 1,000 protest-related criminal cases referred to his office by local law enforcement, only 138 cases have gone forward, with nearly 700 cases rejected.
Mainly, the fact pattern that we see is people ask to go home and then they don't, or they don't go home fast enough. Those are the majority of the cases where we're saying we're going to focus our resources on the folks that are actually doing harm.
A total of 574 cases have been rejected in the interest of justice. In those cases, the DA's office chooses not to proceed with criminal charges based on compelling factors or circumstances.
Specific to the charge of riot, can you explain why that's not a crime that you're willing to prosecute on its own?
The crime of riot in Oregon is defined as when 5 or more people are engaged in tumultuous behavior. So at any one of these protest events where there are 5 or so bad actors who are throwing things at police or lighting things on fire, anybody in the crowd, it could be subject to an arrest for felony riot, whether they were the ones doing the damage or not. And that's where we've drawn the line. We have said, look, if you're the person that is throwing things, lighting things on fire, we'll absolutely prosecute you for the crime of riot. However, if you are just a person who is there, you're not a person that we have any evidence was actually engaging in that behavior, we're not going to charge you with a felony for standing there.
The district attorney's charging policies for people arrested at protests have been criticized by the Portland Police Association and questioned by Multnomah County Sheriff Mike Reese.
Obviously, there's been some frustration from the police department about that policy. Are you just basically asking officers to have a higher burden of proof to actually collect evidence to prove that somebody was a bad actor?
When we were seeing cases coming into our office, we would hear the night before, we'd see videos and we'd see people lit things on fire, people were throwing things at police officers. The cases that I would see the next day didn't reflect that. We had no evidence of that. So we can't make those prosecutions. PPB has put resources, detective resources in place to gather evidence so that we're starting to capture when we see somebody actually doing that harm. They're making targeted arrests of those folks. And then we gather the evidence we need to make those cases. That's why we've got over 130 cases so far in the chute, with more that we're continuing to look at.
Several businesses downtown have expressed frustration about the ongoing protest and the idea that these protesters, some of them, many of them apparently, seem to be going unpunished. What would you say to them?
I would say to those businesses where people are doing damage, we, the district attorney's office, are absolutely prosecuting those cases and have been throughout and will continue to do so.
Schmidt says he'll continue working to build better relationships with both the police and sheriff's department. His data on cases related to protests is publicly available. For a link to his website, you can go to our website, kptv.com, and click on this story. I'm Simon Gutierrez, Fox 12 Oregon.